This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so we came up to the discussion about the in process of creating the device master record. What we have done is we have created material master, which is a starting point, because once you create a material master, you will establish the material number. Basically, we are identifying device as a material, because as you know, although we are calling it as device from the PM perspective or ISU purpose, but essentially device is a material. It's a physical material. Okay, it is something what we have to buy, we have to stock, we have to account, and then we have to also physically send it to the device location so that it is getting installed as a device. Okay, so the material we create so that we can apply certain logistic functions to device, but while it is working in the field, we consider it as a equipment, because it is going to demand some kind of service operations. In order to provide that kind of service operations, we need to recognize it as a piece of equipment in our system, so we create it as a equipment. But it's not just question of creating as just an equipment. It has to be an ISU equipment, which means instead of having all the data of a general equipment, it also should support providing some additional data pertaining to utilities. That's why we are creating it as a device. But the process of creating device is to give a serial number to device, and that activity when you do, we also want the system to recognize it as a equipment also. That means in one single stroke, when you create a device serial number, we're also adding the equipment view, because you said equipment view is mandatory. Okay, so in SAP what they have done, serial number, equipment number, they have made them together, in the sense when you do the creation of serial number, if equipment view is also mandatory, simultaneously it will add the data for equipment as well. Okay, but there could be some cases where we said serial number is good enough, equipment number is not required, so accordingly you switch off that equipment view, we end up only creating serial number. But in ISU it is mandatory, we must identify it by a serial number plus the equipment number. Okay, so I hope this is clear to you by now. Now we cannot create the device directly with respect to material, we have to refer it to device category. Okay, so after creating the material master, we have to create the device category. While creating device category, we will enter the material number what we have created, and then we are selecting one of the basic device category available in the system. So as we saw in the system in the IMG, there is a matrix where we have said what is the division category, what is the division category, for which what is the basic device category we can create. Okay, for electricity division we can create meter. Okay, we can also create for electricity a transformer. Okay, that means we are clubbing the device category, a device category what is given by the system as a basic device category, with the division category. Both are system defined. Okay, so using this data we are creating the device category. Now device category will serve two purposes. One is it will technically define what kind of device you're going to create. Is it going to be a meter or a transformer or a ERCR or a remote meter or a pressure regulator, like that, and also for which division we are creating. Okay, so we enter actually our enterprise structure division. Based on that, system will find out the device division category, and we selected a basic device category, so it will identify the technical piece. Okay, so that's the basic purpose of the device category. Now depending on the basic device category and the division category, there may be some important group level data. what we have to enter in the device category. And if it is a meter, whether it is electricity, water or gas, if you are creating with reference to basic device category as a meter, we have to enter a register group. Okay, we have to enter a register group. Similarly, if you are creating a transformer, then you have to enter winding group. Okay, but if it is a ERCR, ripple control receiver, we have to provide command group, but it is not in the device category. We can add it while creating the device itself or while doing the installation. So we will see that later. So straight away, our dependency now is register group. Now, what is register group? Okay, register group contains information about one or more registers, one or more registers forming the device, forming the device. That means the register group, the very name group indicates it can contain minimum one register information, but one or more registers forming the meter. Okay, basically register group is required for meter. What is register? Register is the component. Okay, it is a component in the meter which does the job of counting. Okay, which does the job of counting the consumption of the electricity. Okay, that means it is acting like a counter. Okay, the moment you put the electricity meter and the electricity starts flowing, it starts counting the consumption in kilowatt hour, and it is always in aggregated fashion. Okay, it will keep on aggregating the data in the sense it is put as 0 initially. After 1 month we see it is showing 800 as a result. That means we have consumed 800 kilowatt hour. Next month it is showing 1750. That means 1750 minus 800. That is the consumption for the second period. Okay. So starting from 0, it keeps on aggregating the value as the time will go by. That's how all the meters are designed. Okay. Just like a meter in the vehicle car, it will show at any given point of time how many kilometers we have traveled. Okay. In the same way, the meter, electricity meter, will start aggregating the data as the consumption will go by. Okay. And always when it is put into the field, it is calibrated. Okay. Initially, all the new meters which you put, they are all calibrated with 0. Okay. So that from the date of consumption, it can keep on aggregating. Okay. Now this register is the most important piece of component in the meter which is required for meter reading and also billing. Okay, and also billing. So when you say we are doing the meter reading every month, we are actually reading the data provided by the register. Okay, we are not actually meter we are reading, but meter as a whole is not we are reading. There is a component within the meter which is register, which is giving us the actual consumption data. The structure of the register can vary depending on the technology of the meter. Okay, in very olden device, if you see meters somewhere in 1960 or 70, there used to be 5 wheels. Okay, small 5 wheels. I mean, like a radials, and some of them you have to read clockwise, some have to read anti-clockwise. Like that, it used to be. Then it was designed later to have a kind of a spindle, a kind of a small wheel which is rotating on a shaft. Okay, if you, whenever you go near the meter and you see inside a small wheel is rotating, okay, on a particular shaft, the number of revolutions it makes is proportional to the rate of generation, rate of consumption. As the rate is increasing, it is increasing number of revolution. So many revolutions per minute means so many kilowatt hour. Okay, just I'm saying a some for example purpose, if it has done 400 revolutions in a minute, then x is the consumption. Okay, if it has done 600 revolutions in 1 minute, then it is y. Okay, that means as the number of revolutions will increase, it will translate to so many kilowatt hours, and that is what we are reading. Okay, now later it has become in the form of a digital. Okay, it is basically like an electronic component. You just go to the meter, you don't see any construction like a rotating wheel or something. Directly you'll see the numbers. Okay, this month it is showing 30,400. Previous month it was 29,200. So the difference is the consumption for the particular meter register for that particular month. So it is very essential to establish what are the attributes of the register. Okay, each register has got a data, and that data we have to maintain by creating a register group. Now, depending on the type of meter, there can be one or more registers. For example, we call single rate electricity meter. Okay, single rate electricity meter means it is only providing one register. Okay, this is what we mostly see at home. Okay, it is having one register. Every month you take one reading. But there are some meters which are called two rate meters. Okay, which are also called as 7 economy meter. Okay, they are very popular in UK. So these meters are actually having two registers. They will provide two readings every month. Okay, one is called on peak and one is called off peak. Okay, one is called off peak. That means these registers are adjusted such a way they are reading the consumption in a particular period of time. Let's say on peak is reading consumption happening between morning 6 o'clock to, let's say, evening 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock, and then from 7 p.m. to midnight and next day morning till 6, one more register is reading, that is a off peak consumption. Okay, or there are some meters they have tried it in test way, three registers: on peak, mid peak, off peak. That means every month it will give three readings. Okay, and there are some meters which are having both kVh and kW. Okay, basically there are two important parameters it will come in electricity. One is the kilowatt hour, that is the energy what we actually bill every month. For household consumers, we bill only consumption energy, is in kilowatt hour. Okay, how many kilowatt hours? If you see your meter bill every month, it will show one particular value, so and so kilowatt hour. Okay, for household purpose, we bill only energy. Okay, but for the commercial and industrial customers, not only you bill the energy, but also demand billing. Okay, we also do demand billing, which will be done for kW value. Okay, that's the demand. Maximum peak demand came into the picture throughout the month for a duration of 15 minutes. Okay. Now, demand is very important in the case of commercial and industrial consumers because they would be using machinery of very high demand. Okay. Basically, what is the demand? It's a rated capacity of a equipment. Okay. Suppose you got a bulb of 100 watt. Okay. Then we say the demand is 100 watt. I got a computer which is 1.2 kilowatt hour. Okay. 1.2 kilowatt. It's the demand. Okay. I got a air conditioner which is 2.2 kilowatt. Okay, this is the demand. The moment it starts consuming 2.2 kilowatt. That is a combination of voltage and current what you need to supply so that the machine will start working. Okay, this is the rated capacity. Every machine has got a rated capacity which is called demand, and when the demand is running for certain duration of time, the energy consumption will happen. Let's say the 100 watt bulb ran for 10 hours. Okay, that means we have consumed basically 1000 watt hours, which is basically 1 kilowatt hour. Okay, 1 kilowatt hour. The computer has run for 10 hours. Okay, so it is going to be 12 kilowatt hour. Okay, like that it has run, air conditioner run for 10 hours. Okay, then it is going to be 22 kilowatt hour. Then we will say what is the price for the consumption. It is, let us say, 12 rupees. Okay, so you multiply the kilowatt hour with the price, you get the consumption energy amount. Okay, for household purpose, we only take care of the energy meter. Okay, only energy consumption, because whatever equipments we are having, their rated capacity is well within the supply range. Okay, of an electricity generating company. But when you go to factory or some industrial applications, there could be having machinery with a very high rated capacity. In a company, there are machines. One machine is having 30 kW capacity. One is having 50 kW. One is having 100 kW. Okay, but all these machines will not work at a time, or even if they work, they all not work together continuously. Okay, some machines may be working full time. Some machines may be working part time. So we take a maximum peak value which has come for 15 minutes, and that will be taken into consideration for the demand billing. Okay, in demand billing, we have got a demand value calculation which we do slightly differently. So we will consider later how to do the demand billing while doing the smart meter, and also demand meters. We will see how to do billing for the demand as well, along with the energy. There will be separate meter. Usually there can be energy meter and one separate demand meter, or there can be a meter which will show both. It has got two registers. One will show what is the kilowatt hour consumption for the month, and what is the peak demand which has come in 15 minutes duration for the whole month. Okay, so both we are taking into consideration for the billing purpose. Depends on the kind of installation what we are having. Okay, now why demand is important? Because in commercial applications we are having machinery of very higher capacities. So whenever the machines are running, the rate of consumption will increase. Okay, now suppose you have got a bulb of 10 watt, 100 watt running for 10 hours. It is 1000 watt hour, that is 1 kilowatt hour. I got a bulb of 1000 watt running for 1 hour. Okay, then that is also 1000 watt hour. Okay, if you say energy price is 10 rupee, both are 10 rupees only, because both are 1 kilowatt hour. Okay, but to supply electricity at 100 watt is one rate of generation, but when you want to supply electricity for a equipment which is 1000 watt, okay, you have to supply at a high current. Okay, that means the rate of consumption is drastically increasing by 10 times. Okay, as the rate of consumption increases, that means our electricity department has to produce electricity at that particular rate. Okay, so as the rate of generation increases, the cost of the generation also will increase. Okay, so then how will you compensate it? By also billing the demand billing. That's the concept of the demand billing. But in household application, our equipments are all very small rated machines. Okay, you will not have a machine like 50 kW or 100 kW at home. You will have small equipments like refrigerator, washing machine, nominal light load. Okay, these all come under very low demand category. That's not an issue for the company. So they only bill the energy data. Okay, so that is a basic concept of energy billing and demand billing in the case of electricity. But in water and gas, we don't have any demand. We only measure the consumption. Okay, so let us focus now only on energy meter. Later we'll see demand billing. Okay, now I have created a material master. It is a single rate electricity meter. I want to create a device category, so I need to have a register group data. So we will create a register group and then fill it up in the device category so that our device category is ready. Okay, to create a device category, we have to maintain some configuration. So we will see that. Go to utilities and then go to device management, technology, register group. Okay, define number ranges for the register group. The number ranges will help us to give a unique number to each register group what to create. Okay, so currently 25 register groups we have created, and then define the register ID. Okay, this is division specific. Depending on the division, what is the ID for the register? Okay, basically there are two types of registers. What you are saying, one is the active register, and then another is active power. Okay, 01, if register ID in the register we enter it as 01, it means for our understanding purpose active register. One more is the active power. Okay, but how will the system know it is only active and active power? We'll have one more field where we will say it is the active register. Okay, but you're giving a ID for the particular division. Okay, now register means energy, power means demand. Okay, active register means it's simply energy register, it's a demand register. Okay, similarly somebody has created active power, reactive power, resetting. Now active power, active register, reactive register. Okay, there are again two types of energy registers. Active means what you physically measure. Reactive means sometimes what happens whenever you supply electricity, you are supplying, let us say, 100 amps, okay? But meter is only showing 90 as the energy, okay? 90 is the current. That means 10 is lost in the machine because machines have got some construction. They hold back some energy, okay? Let's say I'm putting 100 amps, but when you measure at the output, after the consumption, it is showing 90 because the 10 amperes have been held back in the particular equipment. As the age of the equipment will increase depending on the construction, like they may have some windings, okay? So for internal energizing, there's a reverse electricity flowing, okay? Thereby what happens, although we are supplying 100, we are measuring only 90. The 10 is hidden back, okay? So this particular energy, which is not measurable straight away, is called reactive, okay? Now, in any situation, you cannot have 100% react active component. There will be some amount of hidden always. That's why you use a power factor. You multiply with a factor so that you get the actual consumption. Okay. Suppose I measure 10 kilowatt hour, multiply with a power factor 1.05. Then you come to know the actual consumption. But in industrial application, the reactive energy may be very high. Okay. So in certain countries, they put a regulation. If the reactive component is more than 15%, you must put two registers. One is showing the active register, one is the reactive energy, and both we are billing. Okay, that means company cannot lose the money if the machine is holding back some current, which is unavoidable. We have to bill the consumer for both. Okay, so depending on the usually for commercial and industrial application, they can also have two registers. One is the active energy, one is the reactive energy. Both we are billing with different rate. Okay. But for household application, our reactive components are very less. We don't measure it separately, but we always multiply with a power factor if required. Okay. So usually they will specify what is the power factor and accordingly billing will happen. Okay. That's how we are identifying register with the ID, active component and the reactive component. Then register type. Suppose if you got more than one register, how will you differentiate? Okay. Let's say I've got two registers. One you may say on peak, one is off peak, otherwise average rate. Okay. Or I've got one more register like moderate, mid peak. Okay. Peak, off peak, mid peak. Okay. I've got three registers. So how will you identify each one of them? You are giving your own description. That is called the register type. Okay. This is what we enter. Now this is very important. Allocate units of measurement to the register category. Okay. Register category is a division specific. Register category for electricity, register category for water, register category for gas. Okay. Now as far as the register category for the consumption energy meter is cumulating consumption register. Okay. Cumulating means whenever you have put a meter, it has got a register which is measuring the consumption. It is always cumulating, whether it's electricity, water, or gas. It keeps on adding the consumption from the starting date when you put the meter. Okay, that's what I was explaining in the beginning. It is cumulating. It keeps on accumulating the consumption. For demand, it is different. So we will see it later. So whether it's electricity meter or water meter or gas meter, every month you take a meter reading, deduct the previous month meter reading, we get the consumption because it is cumulating. Okay, so we are having register category for the division. So these are the data what we require. So now let us go and create one register group. Technology register group create. So first we enter what is the division category here, and then we say electricity and then continue. Now each line is pertaining data for a particular register. Okay, if you've got two registers, then you'll be entering information for two lines, register number one, register number two. If you've got three registers, then you'll be entering data for register one, register two, register three. Okay, that's why it's called register group. It is containing information about one or more register. Okay, now although you have entered the division category in the beginning, you have to enter again the division category here. Based on that, it will find out the register category. So if you say continue, now this field will open, which is a register category. Here you have to select the accumulating consumption register. Then what is the type of register? It is according to our register ID, reactive register, active register. We'll say active register. And then what is the register type? It's a single rate register. So we will say average rate. PD means how many digits of meter reading you are doing. Is it a 6-digit number, 5-digit number, 4-digit number? Okay. And then we enter that information here. The meter is showing 5 digits. Okay. Then after the digits, are you having any decimals? Are you measuring in decimal? Okay. Then you can declare the decimal points. Is it 2 digits or 3 digits? Okay. We'll say 2. What is the unit of measurement for the meter reading? Every month you take a meter reading. Okay. In which unit you are taking the meter reading? Now, internationally, all the meters are now designed to show the consumption in kilowatt hour. Okay, this is the energy data for the kilowatt hour. Now, because we have entered division as electricity, it is showing kilowatt hour. But if it is water or gas, it will show different dimension. Because for water, it will be meter cube. For gas, also it could be meter cube. Okay, so here we are taking kilowatt hour. Then system defined category. This is active register. Okay, here we are entering register ID, what we define, and here what we see is a system defined category, active reactive. Okay, so this is a system definition. This is our own identification as active register. Register factor is a multiplication factor. You can think it as a power factor. You can multiply. It can also, in earlier days, it used to indicate a factor you have to multiply because of the type of components what we have in the meter. Like it is a mechanical kind of a equipment which has got some kind of pulleys and wheels. Okay, so mechanical efficiency has to be considered. So you used to have a multiplication factor that you can give it here. Rest all the fields you can leave it for the time being. We will see later. Now comes the most important data. What is the validation class? Okay, you have to enter here validation class. This validation class will take care of the validation of the meter reading results what you enter. Okay, every month you are taking a meter reading, you will enter, but once you enter the data, it will validate. Okay, whether this reading is acceptable or not. Okay, because you have entered some reading. Okay, but suddenly some month it is showing very high value. Okay, is it acceptable or not? Some validation parameters will be customizing, and these customizations will happen for the group of registers. Okay, for residential consumers, we have got one validation. For the industrial customers and commercial, one kind of validation. Okay. So validation rules are defined for the validation class. Validation class means type of meters what you're using for a particular type of customers. All the residential meters will have one kind of validation, and all non-residential meters will have one kind of validation. Okay. So that validation will be configuring. We'll see how it used to use. Then what is the unit for billing? Okay, it is also kilowatt hour. Earlier days, what used to happen, the meter used to show the meter reading result in the you know watt hour, but consumption billing you are doing in kilowatt hour. Okay, but now the meter reading itself is shown in kilowatt hour. Our billing unit is also kilowatt hour. Okay, so electricity, the MRU and kWh, and the billing unit is also kWh. We are maintaining. Then you have to mark this register to be proposed during the device installation. Okay, we'll be doing something called billing installation. Okay, when you do the billing installation, you will add the device. It will show automatically register as the register level data. There will be entering some billing related information. What is the rate type? Okay, based on the rate type, it will find out the rate. Okay, so for enabling what kind of billing rate we should use, the logic for calculation, that is determined based on the register type. Okay, so we ask the system to propose this information or the register at the time of billing. Okay, if you don't mark it P, then you cannot do any billing, because unless we have some register relevant data, we cannot do the billing. Okay, so we have to mark it as P, relevant for billing. There could be some registers which are not relevant for billing, so you can leave it open, but this is required. Here it is P. You mark it as relevant for billing. That means the moment you install the device, it will show two level data, one at the device level, one at the register level. At the register level, we will say this register will have a rate type. Okay, that means if the meter has got two registers, on peak, off peak, there will be two rate type. On-peak rate type is different, off-peak rate type is different. Based on that, two rates will be determined, and each rate will calculate the consumption energy amount. Okay, so you have to mark it as P, and then we can save it. Okay, so we have created the register group data 26. Now, having created the register group, we can go and create a device category. For device category, we require the material which we have already created. Okay, so now we will go to M60 and find out what is the material number we have created. And our plant is 6002, 6001. For this plant, we have created a particular material as 241. 241 is the material number, three-phase alternate current electricity meter. Okay, so our material number is 241. So you know what is the material number, we know what is the register group. Now we can go and create a device category. So go to create the device category, EZ01 create. Enter the material number, what we have got, 241. Division is our enterprise structure division, which is 60. And our basic device category is meter. Okay, select the meter. So which means 241 is a device category for meter, what we are creating, and it is a meter for electricity division. Now we can give here description again, three-phase alternate current electricity meter. And then what is the register group? Our register group what we have created is 26. Okay, enter. Now, if you are creating a meter for electricity division, then type of measurement also comes into picture. So this I've shown you last time. If you are creating a meter for water division or gas division, type of measurement is not required. It is not available as a field. Okay. Only in case of electricity division, when you create a meter device category, we have to enter type of measurement. Then here we are selecting at the moment direct measurement. Okay, selecting a direct measurement. Typically for a household application, it is always direct measurement. Okay, you are putting the meter and the specification of the meter is matching with the load specification. Okay, like say 240 volts, single phase 240 volt, and whatever is the current, three phase 340 volt, and then your particular range of current. Let's say maximum current is 20 amps or 30 amps. Okay, they are rated for that particular voltage and the current. But in industrial application and commercial application, the load currents may be very high, sometimes 150 amps, 200 amps. Okay, sometimes voltage could be different. Okay, in that case we cannot put the meter directly, otherwise meter will not work. Okay, so meter has to be given the rated voltage and the current, then only it can measure the consumption. In such case, what to do, we call it as a semi-indirect measurement. That means it is not directly reading the consumption, but it is reading the consumption based on a transformer output. So we'll have two devices, one a small transformer we are adding with the meter. The transformer is basically transforming the electricity to the required voltage and the current. So the meter is reading the consumption according to the output of the meter, output of the transformer, which is coming as 20 amps, but actually load current is 200 amps. So the meter, when you see, it is showing the consumption happening at 20 amps, but actual consumption is happening at the 200 amps. So there the system will calculate the billing ratio. Okay, the input current is 200 and output current is 20, billing ratio is 10. So whatever is the consumption you're reading from the meter, it will be multiplied with the value of 20. Okay, so we will see after this later how to add a meter along with the transformer. Okay, but if you want to add a transformer, then you have to select one of these values, either semi-indirect, indirect, or both. Okay, semi-indirect means there is no voltage difference. Same load voltage is also same as the rated capacity of the meter. Only current is varying. So in that case, semi-indirect. Indirect means voltage is changing. Voltage is very high. Meter rated capacity is 340 volt. Indirect, semi-indirect means both are changing. Both are very high. Then you put, transformer which is doing voltage reduction and also current reduction. Okay. So we will see how to add them later. So right now we don't select semi-indirect, we'll say direct measurement, which means there is no transformer. Okay. Then you go to certification data, enter the certification requirement. every meter what you put in the field has to be certified. Okay, certified in the sense it has to be said legally this meter is trustworthy, it has been tested, it has been calibrated, and put a stamp certified into year 2019. Okay, so when you send it to the field, it is installed with the prior approval obtained. Okay, but who will do the certification? It depends on the country. In some country, they will say it has to be certified by some authorities, external authorities, as a legal requirement. Okay, so we are saying subjected to external certification. Okay, in some companies they say it is subject to internal certification. Okay, that means meter is already certified by the vendor who has manufactured. Before sending the meter, the utility company has to certify we have done the testing on sampling basis, meter is okay, it can be put into the device location, and it can start working efficiently and correctly. Okay, so utility company certification is good enough. Okay, depending on the country, we have to select the type of activation. So here we will select celebration as calibration as the subject to external clarification, external agency. And what is the calibration period? We'll say 5 years. Okay, that means if it is certified in 2019, it is supposed to work without any problem with the calibration till 2024. Okay, actually meter can work for 20 years also. Okay, but it needs frequent calibrations to be done. Okay, so initially when you put it is going to work for 2024. Again you have to check it in 2024. If required, you have to recalibrate, or if it is okay, it can continue for another 2 years, 3 years. We extend the data. Okay, so this calibration data is very, very important. Unless the meter is certified, it cannot be installed in the system. Okay, once the calibration period is over, it cannot do measure reading. It will show you cannot do meter reading for this because the calibration is over. Okay, it means it has to be replaced with the another meter. We can understand that way. So now we have created this particular device category. Okay, once a device category is ready, we can create a device. Okay, now how will you create device? It is basically giving a serial number. Okay, that means you are now giving, you are creating a device. And how is the device created? It is given a serial number. Simultaneously, it is also created as the equipment. Okay, so there are two ways in which you can create the device. One is through the PM transaction, and another is through inventory process. Okay, inventory process. Now, how to create device serial number through the PM? We will see. You can create at a time one serial number, or you can create n number. Okay, so to create the device, we go to device IK01 create. IK01 means you are creating one serial number. Okay, if you use IK04, you are creating at a time n number of serial number. Enter the material number. Our material number is 241. By default, equipment category is I. Okay, in the serialization profile also you have put category as I. Okay, that means when the serialization happens, serial number will come from the number range assigned to equipment category, because we said it is synchronized. Synchronized in the sense system will not give any serial number. It will rather take the equipment number as the serial number. Both are same. Serial number is same, equipment number is same. Now we will say continue, and then it will go to a combined view, which is having the serial number data and also equipment view. Now, this is the most important thing. What happens here? You are creating an equipment, but it is the IS equipment. Okay, because you have declared I as a special category equipment for the devices, we have to add some data which will be added to the device. Okay, whereas if you create a general equipment, this data will not be applicable. Okay, so it is transferring some data from the device category, also some data what you are entering. Okay, now who is the manufacturer of this device? Okay, we can declare the manufacturers in the system configuration. I will show you where you can define them. Let's say this particular meter is made by Siemens. Model number is SI, some number as given by the manufacturer. Construction year 2018. Certification year 2018. Okay, we are entering the vendor certification, but here we are entering straight away certification year. Okay, but you can also enter certification separately after you do the sampling test. We will see later how to do sampling and enter the certification here. But if we enter here straight away, That means it is already certified. Okay, we are entering the data 2018, and then valid from, it is valid from 01/11/2018. That means it is applicable to use from 0/11/2018. The register group is coming from the device category. Okay, that means this material created as a device category 241. In 241, you have maintained register group as 26. So it is copying the data into device, and the inspection level is 01. That is device to be inspected. Okay, we have inspected. Now transfer. Now it will create the data for the serial number and the equipment number. The serial number is 886. Okay, how it has fixed this number? Because that is the number for the equipment as of now. So if you go to serialization data, the equipment number is 886. So whatever is the equipment number, that is the data given to the serial number as well. Okay. Now you can also enter the maintenance plant. The maintenance plant here is 6001. That means this device will be for the maintenance plant so and so. That means equipment can be installed in a functional location which is maintained for the maintenance plant 6001. If you have created any device location in this particular maintenance plant, then this device can be added as a piece of equipment. Okay. So now we will save it. So we have created one device here, identified with the number as 886. Okay. But if you want to create at a time n number of serial number, then you can go to list editing, IK04, create. Now we want to create at a time 20 serial numbers. Okay. Then enter the number and then hit the enter button. It will now take the numbers from 887 because 886 is already used. So now it is taking the numbers from 887 to the last number 906 and then save it. Then I can give the data. That means it is belonging to MCO, and then model number is AM some number, construction year 2018, certification year 2018, and it is valid from, equipment is valid from 01/10/2018, and inspection relevancy 01, and then transfer. Okay. Now here 20 serial numbers have been created. Now at any given point of time, you can know how many serial numbers we have got for the meter. So if you go to IQ09, okay, see the number of serial numbers what we have. So IQ09 will show you for a particular material. Our material here is 241. It is 241. So for 241, how many devices we have got? Execute. So it is showing there is 21 serial numbers are there. Okay, these are serial numbers what you have created. And if you select any of the serial number and then go to detail, it is showing one important information as AVLB, available status. Okay, status is AVLB, which means it is available for the installation. Okay, tomorrow when you want to record the installation in the device location, if the device is showing the status as AVLB, then only you can install. Okay, that means physically the person is installing in the location. Once they submit the report, 886 has been installed in a particular device location. Once the report will come to us, the device management person will enter that information in the system. So and so device is installed in so and so device location. But while recording the installation, if the status is AVLB, then only it can be installed. Okay. Once it is installed, automatically status will become INST. That means it is installed. That means it is not free to install. It is already working in some device location. Unless you remove it from there, the status will be INST. Okay. So there is one more status called ESTO, that is warehouse stock. Okay. So when you're doing the warehouse management, that means when you are managing the serial number through the the status will come as ESTO. We will see. Now, whatever may be the status, unless the status is AVLB, you cannot do the installation in the system. Okay. But when you create through PM transaction, all the meters are basically becoming the piece of equipment with the serial number and the status is AVLB. Okay. But now you have got 21 serial numbers. But does it mean that there are 21 physical devices in our operation? No. because we are not talking about any inventory here. We only created serial number. Okay. But does it mean that you got 21 pieces available with you? No, answer is no. Why? Because you are not connected with the plant and storage location. Okay. So there are two ways of doing. Okay. First, to create serial numbers through the PM transaction like IQ01 or IQ04. Then you perform the goods receipt. Okay. You are recording a goods receipt for devices. And while recording the goods receipt, it will ask for the serial number. And then you enter the serial number what you created, 21 serial number. Now it is also corresponding to the stock. We have got 21 serial numbers, 21 piece of devices in our plant and the storage location. This is one way of doing. Or you don't create serial number straight away. You directly go to perform the goods receipt. Then it will do the serialization. It will create the next serial number. And also it is adding the quantity. Okay. That means you first do the serialization and use the numbers allocating to the inventory when you perform the goods receipt, or while directly doing the performance in the goods receipt, it will add the serial number by itself. Okay. But whenever you perform the serialization through the goods receipt, the status will become ESTO. It's a warehouse stock. Okay. Unless you release it, it cannot become the AVLP. So there is a process how you want to convert into AVLP. Once it comes to AVLP status, we can do the installation. Okay. So devices you can create in two ways. One through the PM transaction, one through the goods receipt. By default, when you perform through to the PM transaction, status is always AVLP. Okay. But the moment it is installed, it is INST. Okay. But when you are performing through inventory management, initial status will be ESTO. You have to convert into AVLP, then install it in the system, then it will become INST. Okay. So we will see that process subsequently. So today we have seen how to create device category and thereby the devices. Okay. Now from where this manufacturer name is coming. Okay. So the additional configuration we will see. And you can also add some more data to device category. Okay, we will see that information in the next session. And then with the existing device, let me show you how do we do the technical installation in the device location. Okay, we cannot do billing installation because we are not yet ready with the billing configuration. Then we will try with the process. Suppose I'm adding some stock, how the serialization will happen, what will be the status, and how to convert into AVLP. Okay, so that process we will see on Monday. So today we have seen the process of creating the device starting from the material. Okay, first we created a material master, then we created one device category register group, and based on that we created a device category. Then we have created the device or devices. Okay, now we have used the PM transaction to create the devices, basically serialization through PM transaction, and thereby it is creating as a serial number and equipment number, and by default the status is AVLP. Okay, so this is the information what we have done today. You please go through the video, and then Monday we will expand further, data into the system. Okay, is it okay? We'll conclude for today.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.